Evet arkadaşlar herkese merhabalar ve iyi haftalar. Evet bu haftanın derslerine başlıyoruz sizinle birlikte. Şimdi kaldığımız yerden devam edeceğiz. Evet bakalım. Evet arkadaşlar buradaki alıştırmadan doğru devam edeceğiz. Şimdi hava yolları ve hava yollarının karşılaşabildiği sorunlarla alakalı bir ünite işliyorduk. Şimdi alıştırmamız burada. Now we are going to listen to Eric Sorensen. He is a customer services manager for Norska Air, and we are going to listen to an interview about a difficult situation. And we are going to find out the cause of the problem, and we are going to find out if he dealt with it successfully, okay? We are going to answer these questions, then we are going to listen again and complete this text here. Okay, then let's go.
Unit 2, page 21, exercises 4 and 5. One of the first things I had to do when I just started the job was deal with problems that were caused by the volcano which erupted in Iceland. The cloud of ash from the volcano made flying impossible. There were people from all over Europe who couldn't get home because there were no flights for them. We also had people we had to contact and tell them they couldn't go on holiday.
So, what did you do?
I divided the staff into 3 teams. One team organized hotel accommodation for our customers. That wasn't easy because there weren't enough hotels for everybody, and we didn't know how long airports would remain closed. The second team contacted all the customers who had booked flights that week and offered them refunds or an alternative holiday. But that wasn't easy either, as we didn't have much spare capacity. And a third team was responsible for hiring coaches to transport people to places where there were other means of transport to get them home.
And do you think the operation was a success?
Well, of course, we lost a lot of money. But on the positive side, our customers saw that we were doing our best to meet their needs in difficult circumstances. I think that these passengers are going to trust us in the future because they know that if anything goes wrong, we'll look after them.
What do you think you learnt from the experience?
In terms of professional skills, the most important skill was how to deal with the public in a very stressful situation. For example, if a customer is angry and upset, it's important to let them tell you how they feel. Don't interrupt while they are speaking, but stay patient and wait until they've finished. If you can stay calm, this is going to help the whole situation, so don't get angry or lose your temper. And, of course, don't ever start to argue with a customer or blame your colleagues or anyone else about the situation. It doesn't help to make excuses. It's better to focus on what you're going to do to change things. I've also learned that the way you listen is important too. You should make sure you stop what you are doing and look at the person. Ask questions to ensure that you understand what the problem is from their point of view, and show empathy by telling them that you understand how they feel. Then, if possible, reassure the customer by promising that you will do something to improve the situation.
Evet arkadaşlar. Dinledik şimdi. Önce 4. alıştırma yapıp sonra 5. alıştırmaya geçelim, tamam mı? Okay. We have listened to the interview about a difficult situation, and first question is, what was the cause of the problem? Well, it is the eruption of a volcano in Iceland, and it created an ash cloud, so it made flying impossible. And the second question is, did he deal with it successfully? And the answer is, do you remember? Well, in short, yes, he did. Well, I don't think we need to listen to it once again, and then let's move on to the fifth exercise. We are going to choose the correct options of the question, but in some of them, there may be more than one true answer, okay? So we can choose two if necessary. 1. How did they deal with the passengers stranded at the airport? Okay, A, they put them up in hotels. B, they sent them home on coaches. Or C, the passengers waited until the airport reopened. Okay, do you remember the answer to this question? A, B, C, which one? Well, it is A, right? They put them up in hotels. 2, it was difficult for Norska Air to organize accommodation because A, they didn't have enough money. B, there weren't enough hotels. Or C, they didn't know how long the airport will stay closed. Okay, so what is the answer? A, B, C? Which one or which ones? You remember from the listening? Well, there are two correct answers here. One of them is B, there weren't enough hotels. It was difficult for Norska Air because there weren't enough hotels. And C, they didn't know how long the airport will stay closed. Let's move on to the third one. The passengers who had booked flights that week, A, lost their money. B, were offered a refund. Or C, were offered an alternative flight or holiday. Which one or which ones? True. Do you remember? Well, there are again two correct options here. One is B, they were offered a refund. And again, C, they were offered an alternative flight or holiday. They could choose whichever they wanted. Okay, and the final one, 4, the positive side of the experience for the company was A, they didn't lose too much money. B, they helped their customers. Or C, their customers will trust them in the future. Okay, which is the true one? Remember? Well, it is not A because he said they lost a little money. But the positive side was, which one? B or C? It is C. Their customers will trust them in the future. Okay, we have completed this. Now we are going to move on to the sixth exercise. Okay, we are going to complete this table. Well, it is the final part of the previous listening. And now I'm going to read it to you, the final part of it, and we are going to fill in the blanks, dealing with customers' problems, do's and don'ts, okay? First, don't. Don't blah blah the customer, be patient and wait until they have finished speaking. Argue with the customer, don't argue with the customer or blah blah colleagues. Don't make blah blah even if the situation isn't your fault. And do listen actively, stop what you were doing and blah blah at the customer while he or she is speaking. Ask blah blah to clarify any facts or obtain missing information. Do show empathy by telling the person that you blah blah how he or she feels. Do blah blah the customer by promising something that you will do to improve the situation. Now I'm going to read that final part. We are not going to listen to the whole thing. I'm going to read the final part and you are going to feel in that empty spaces, okay? Okay, let's go. In terms of professional skills, the most important skill was how to deal with the public in a very stressful situation. For example, if a customer is angry and upset, it is important to let them tell you how they feel. Don't interrupt while they are speaking, but stay patient and wait until they have finished. If you can stay calm, this is going to help the whole situation. So don't get angry or lose your temper. And of course, don't ever start to argue with the customer and or blame your colleagues or anyone else about the situation. It doesn't help to make excuses. It is better to focus on what you are going to do to change things. I have also learned that the way you listen is important too. You should make sure you stop what you are doing and look at the person. Ask questions to ensure that you understand what the problem is from their point of view, and show empathy by telling them that you understand how they feel. Then, if possible, reassure the customer by promising that you will do something to improve the situation. Okay, so we have do's and don'ts. What are they? First, don't. What is the first one? Did you catch it? Don't blah blah the customer. Be patient and wait until they have finished speaking. Don't interrupt the customer. Okay. Don't argue with the customer or blah blah colleagues. What is that blah blah? Second blah blah. Don't argue with the customer or blame colleagues. Yes. And don't make blah blah even if the situation isn't your fault. Don't make what? Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. There is no need for that. Now we have do list. Do listen actively. Stop what you are doing and blah blah at the customer while he or she is speaking. Look at the customer. Yes. Show your customer that you are listening to him or her. Okay, do ask blah blah to clarify any facts or obtain missing information. Ask what? Questions to clarify any facts or obtain missing information. It also shows that you are listening. Remember, he said that. Do show empathy by telling the person that you blah blah how he or she feels. Show empathy by telling the person that you understand how he or she feels. And finally, do blah blah the customer by promising something that you will do to improve the situation. What should you do? Reassure the customer by promising something that you will do to improve the situation. Okay, fine then, we are going to move on to this article. Now we are going to read this first, and then we are going to answer these three questions. Okay? The questions are, what is the constant threat that airline customer service staff have to deal with? Make a list of the reasons why so many passengers are unhappy, and why are the problems likely to continue to get worse in the future? And the name of the article is Air Rage on the Increase. Bir şey artış gösteriyor arkadaşlar. Air Rage ne demek? Air Rage arkadaşlar uçaktaki Müşterilerin, yolcuların diyeyim pardon, uçaktaki yolcuların sorun çıkarması durumu. Hani böyle öfkelenip sorun çıkaran yolcular oluyor, haberlerde falan da görüyoruz. İşte bu duruma air rage diyoruz. Öfkelenip birbirine saldırıyor, bir şey oluyor. Sorun çıkaran yolcular olayının artış göstermesinden bahseden bir yazı dinleyeceksiniz şimdi benden. Kendiniz de burada görebilirsiniz. Okay. A recent survey of airport staff at Cheap Sky Airlines shows that air rage and a lack of training to cope with it is still a major problem. Airline customer service staff, particularly employees of low-cost carriers, are under a constant threat of air rage as airlines increase fares and introduce more fees and ticket restrictions. Many employees had experienced air rage at work on a daily basis, with ticket restrictions, staff shortages, and excess baggage charges cited as major causes of customer anger. Analysis of customer complaints over the last 6 months reveals similar information. The things that make passengers most angry are long queues at check-in and security control, and a lack of understanding of restrictions on discounted tickets buried in the small print. 9 out of 10 employees said they had received no training on how to deal with angry and abusive customers. With the increase in fuel costs, forcing airlines to add extra fees and restrictions, there are now worries air rage will increase. Becky Liu, National Secretary of the Flight Attendants Union, said additional fees and charges will just make it harder for people on the front line. Evet. Benzin fiyatlarındaki artış pek çok şeye yansıyor, değil mi arkadaşlar? Okay. Well, the first question is, what is the constant threat that airline customer service staff have to deal with? Well, this is an easy one, and it is the headline of the article as well. It is air rage. The constant threat is air rage. Question number 2 is, make a list of the reasons why so many passengers are unhappy. Neden yolcular mutsuz arkadaşlar? Neden mutsuzlar? Let's take a look. The first one is ticket restrictions. Bu ne demek arkadaşlar? Şimdi indirimli bir bilet aldığınız zaman size bir takım kısıtlamalar getiriyor. Mesela işte taşıyabileceğiniz bagajın limiti azalıyor. İşte bunun gibi şeylerde yapabilecekleriniz normal biletlerden daha farklı olabiliyor. Fakat bunlar sözleşmelerde biletlerin üstüne falan çok küçük olarak basıldığı için pek çok kişi bunları okumuyor, fark etmiyor ve sonunda da havaalanına geldiğinde sorunlara maruz kalıyorlar. Bu olaydan bahsediyor. Bu işte ticket restriction dediğimiz şey farkında değil. Neyin ne olduğunu mesela diyor ki sen discounted yani indirimli bilet aldın. Senin bagaj taşıma hakkın şu kadar diyor. Diğerlerinden daha düşük bir bagaj şeyi veriyor. Fakat yolcu bunun farkında değil. Ve her bir kilo başına çok acayip rakamlar istenebiliyor gibi şeyler oluyor. Bu da öfke patlamalarına yol açıyor. Evet. Ticket restriction is the first one. The first in our list of reasons why so many passengers are unhappy. The second one is staff shortages. Yes, there are not enough staff to deal with the customers, so sometimes passengers cannot know what to do, where to go, so it causes unhappiness, rage. And excess baggage charges. And sometimes it doesn't have to do with ticket restrictions. Sometimes you just bring your luggage heavier than it should be, and still you have to pay a lot of money for it. Long queues at check-in. Yes, long queues at the airport. This is a very major problem at the airports. And again, long queues at check-in points, security control points. You have to wait for a long time. You have to take out your jewelry, your belt and everything. You put them, then take them back and wear them again, and it takes a lot of time. And another one on the list is not understanding the ticket restrictions or discounted tickets, because the information about them is in small print. We can put that on the list as well. And number 3, why are the problems likely to continue to get worse in the future? Well, increasing fuel cost is the answer, I think. That is the main reason. Because increasing fuel cost this problem caused airlines to add extra fees and extra restrictions. So the problems are likely to continue in the future, I think. Okay, now we are out of time. So we are going to continue our next exercises in our next video, okay? Evet arkadaşlar, süremiz dolduğu için bir sonraki alıştırmalarımıza bu haftanın 2. ders saatinde devam edeceğiz. Tamam mı? Evet, 2. ders saatimizin videosunda görüşünceye kadar kendinize çok iyi bakın. Hoşça kalın gençler.